I woke up early, even though I stayed up until 12 a.m. I got to school right around 7:40 a.m., so I ended up being really sleepy. I pressured my mom, and I was able to eventually head to school early, and I got to the same record that I was in yesterday. First period, this one went absolutely crazy. For the first part, I was generally active in answering the questions, and we had to answer five things, four places: the store, the jewelry store, the bread store, and the pharmacy store. I answered a ton of them, and I also gave some niche answers, such as a sandwich in a bread store if they sell food, if they're like a vendor market at the same time, or maybe food in a pharmacy if it's like the tourist area, like the to-go foods, like the ones that are already pre-packaged. You'd see those in Las Vegas in the CVS pharmacy that's there. And that was niche, but I got many points and I was quite active than before. I'm usually silent most of the time. Then the teacher before talked about homophones and how two words can sound exactly the same, but similarly different. I answered duella and duerme, and the teacher said I was wrong in that they're not homophones, but I was in the right track and that they do sound similar. I only got 1 point there anyway, so back to the main point right here. The teacher was talking about the class and how we were talking about the word pull, and that pull can mean to actually pull on something, but also pull can mean you got something rare, you have something rare. And this will apply perfectly later on. One of the students for the word pharmacy, one of the very funny students, big credit if you're watching this right now, answered for the word items for pharmacy, el condono. And the entire class was laughing out loud, and it was really funny. The teacher gave 5 extra credit points to those who could actually answer the correct term. This is Spanish, so I said el preservativo, which means condom in Spanish, which is much different than el preservante. It went absolutely crazy as a class, like erupted as the first time someone said it, El Condono, and the class laughed so hard, and everybody had a nice laugh. That's repetitive, but the first time, yes, credit to the one who did this during class. I know you might view these videos here and then. I'm not gonna name you since you're probably gonna get hunted by the ops, but I know, I heard it, it was funny, so big credits to you. The kid later on, someone else different, the teacher said to them to say what pan agrio is, which is practically sourdough bread. They elaborated on the points of pan de masa fermentada madre. And someone said mamarillos, which is an odd term, but the teacher kind of laughed anyway. The madre in the wording here practically means the origin of where you cook. I am not wrong here. The mother practically means the life culture. It's the origin of where the bread is born, where the bread gets all of its flavors from. So that's what I think it means. I might be wrong anyway, but close enough. Second period. All right, so this was PE. So it went again interesting. The teacher had made all of us go inside the gym, and we didn't really do much anyway. What I did was usually watch the game, see if anything's going on, but this time I entered in the benches near the modified and sped kid class. I found it quite interesting. I watched the volleyball game, then I also watched the basketball game this time. And positive credit here goes toward the girlfriend group, which is Nicole, Chloe, same name I think, and then for them helping the sped class and obviously the friend group too in the game of basketball. I found the game quite interesting. I felt very much a brotherhood feel between the sped kid and more of the basketball players that were playing. So practically, I'm just thinking like Go King as I played it. Another failure that I found is that I don't know why I kept allowing one student. The one that I talked to me is like a military kid who was play fighting me. I don't know why I didn't stop him. An adult eventually told him to stop messing with me. He was doing like play fighting. He was like using like little hand signals and like pushing me. And I don't know, to be honest. It was really at this point, um, I found it quite embarrassing because it was on my front that I failed to enforce my own boundaries that an adult eventually had to take it over. So I don't know, to be honest, in this case, but this is a military kid, so he does act tough. At the end, the basketball game was already dropped, so one of the teachers, as a last, ended up playing one of the main players of the basketball game as a sped class left, and there was no clear victory. They was balling though, I'll give it that, alright? Typically, as you see in any basketball game, yes, they were absolutely making the movements. They're trying to make the shot. They're trying to block. One was trying to make the hit. And this was one of the teachers too, so I didn't know they had that hidden skill. Anyway, third period, we did the Socratic seminar, and obviously I took primary lead because I got the Among Us thing first. I got the black Among Us character, and the kid next to me had the orange, so he made me switch the color. It went mostly fine though. So I had the black one, he had the orange one. I got the orange one, and then he has the black. It went mostly fine. I was able to announce and talk to myself just as much as I do now without a script, and we passed down the Among Us plushies to see who would answer. And by the way, sorry Karen, but oh, that was Caleb. No, I ended up laughing silently during the class as someone answered because the teacher said they were reiterating my points and some people were laughing. So the student called me out and said, "Are you laughing?" And then everybody else ended up laughing also. Surprisingly, I got called out by one girl since I told her to give it back to me so I can go for another try. But she made me shush off and she gave it to someone else. The teacher here said this was an absolute flop because no one was having like a natural conversation. I think this is a mismatch because even though I did take the lead first, credit to the other one who was with the Among Us, but she did go first. I think the biggest problem is that the teacher thought we could somehow hold a fluid conversation, a social conversation between all of us, like in this little Socratic seminar. But the thing is, we don't know each other, so we don't know our communication style. So we're not going to be able to actually like talk to each other in the way that he thought it would be. So thinking of it like that. At the end of the class, the kid took advantage of my laughter and how easy I laugh at anything. And he repeated the word black among us, black among us, like so many times. He knows how easy it is to make me laugh, even though it's something that is objectively not funny at all. Which I don't know if I should give credit or not give credit, but oh well. Conversation during the seminar was so bad, even the TA had to participate in it during the actual conversation between the class, but it didn't really go anywhere much at all, to be honest. Fourth period, the teacher asked us that we're going to be doing a school-required sophomore project about World War I and II, and we're going to make like a little bit of a presentation project in like a little cardboard box from it. It's due on April 10th, and it will be presented on Saturday, April 11th to anyone that's visiting the school. And explicitly mentioned no late work. Before notes, we walked around like a gallery of note taking of many pictures of World War II events that occurred. So we didn't really take notes today anyway. But we're not starting the notes yet or the project, but it's going to happen pretty soon. Anyways, credit to Jen during this period and all the boys. You told me that something was going on in your lung and that you're gonna be headed to the hospital. For the boys, I don't remember your name. I don't know where it is, but it's all the info that I can hear. So big credits to you if you're watching this right now. And Jen, credits to you. You might not see this in the immediate future though. Anyways, the lunch period. Bad news is that the rain was pretty bad, so I was rate limited in movement. I did not want my pants being very wet, so I had to stay in a certain shade for a few amount of minutes in order to actually move anywhere else so my pants don't get really wet. My primary friends were not here. I was, but elsewhere. So, anyways, there was one other friend here that was there, but Kurt, if you're watching this, although I don't think I was able to find you, I wanted to initiate a new interaction, and since this is a perfect chance, rain already dampens the social hierarchy to find new people. But I believe that even though the rain did dampen local interaction, people were still there, and the gym was open much too late. That means that the same social noise that did block direct interaction that I was talking about when it was not raining, that same noise distracted direct interaction with what I say to people who are invisible, as I said from my video earlier about the roles of a leader. I then decided, like, hey, remember that girl friend group that I was in before? Remember the one where it was like the other one that sits near between the B buildings? The one where that other one came in today during today's friend group in the morning. Why don't we go with them since we're already out of options? More like it's more of an evacuation route to find a place. Yeah, bad news is that they're not there. They moved around most likely in the cafeteria, which isn't wrong, but as I said, social play tectonics, people move around often. So there are no spots there. So even though I think I should have texted, they probably would have not answered in time anyway due to business. And they're all busy. And I didn't really have all the contacts anyway. I only have one, so that really reduces my chance here. So I had to stand in a shade, maybe grab a few snacks, and then wait until next period. Unfortunately, I had to do that. I wish I did interact with another friend group, but there was another one that did seem closed off, and the one that I was looking for, the one that did sit near between B buildings, they were not there today. So it's not wrong, but I didn't really have a home to find. So here we go. Fifth period. I bet the teacher that some students would be late, and behold, that same kid was late again. Thankfully, this time for Lord of the Flies, we read chapter 7 at 1.5x speed, which is much faster than the typical speed an audiobook is in, and it aligns closer to how I read. So very thankful here. It was more of a read than it was kind of like a slow read. I don't remember anything exactly with the boys' craziness that happened like in the class itself, so I know something happened, but it didn't spike my memory enough for me to remember it. After that, I completed a quick review of 3 questions, and we finished and dashed out the period right after that. Big credit to the teacher, as always, for letting me bet in her tip jar that there's gonna be students late. Sixth period. During this period, I found it quite interesting, so I added a really funny joke. The teacher was teaching behind us about parabolas and how to know if their x roots are either whole numbers, integers, rational, irrational, and the class answered most of them fine. Though there was some silence here and there, we learned about imaginary numbers and how it can't be classified into real numbers. I got confused on one problem, which was 3x squared minus 11, and I realized I had to redo it using the quadratic formula because it's much simpler. I mistaken negative 4 parentheses 3, 11, parentheses 11 as 121, but not 132. The real answer was 132, so I then fixed that up. I then played around after and showed my friends about the 6-7 meme, even though they hate it so much. And also thanks Samuel for not coughing in class. And it's the 6-7 meme of the quadratic equation of x squared minus 13x plus 42. When the teacher right at the end came around with the trash, since we are doing a little bit of a cutting activity, I put the funny mathematical joke pretending to throw my trash away even though I had nothing in my hand. I called it imaginary trash, which is a metaphor. It's imaginary numbers, where parabola does not sit on the y-axis. So very funny joke, even though that has zero funny to it anyway. But that's it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video.